What is good, everyone, and welcome back to the Nostalgia Plus Ultra podcast. My name is Nostalgia. Joining me is As Told by Zoe. New name on Twitter. We got another one, Zony PlayStation 5. That might be your best one, honestly.
Hell yeah.
That actually might be your best one.
I couldn't
That was
wait.
really good, by the way.
I couldn't wait to change it. I was like, I only kept Zozo's Bizarre Adventure for like 2 weeks, but when I came up with it, I was like, I gotta do it now.
Hey, that's the one, right? That's definitely the one. So happy holidays to everybody. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. We're recording this the day after. I hope my Christmas was dope. Hope your Christmas was really good. That's a really good times. Yeah, I'm back. As you can see, I'm not in my usual spot with the white background. I am actually back home. I had to borrow this chair so that way I could be comfortable recording this podcast episode. This chair does not belong in my actual room. I know it is. It does not belong in my actual room, but I mean, I had to take it over here just because I wanted to. But so day after Christmas, I will say that my family has come around to my anime fandom. As you can see, got the girl Toga.
I love the shirt. I love the shirt.
As a shirt. Yeah, got the girl Toga as a gift from my cousin. And so yeah, I appreciate them actually liking my anime fandom and not just thinking it's weird. I really appreciate that.
Who gave it to you, Holly or Jazz?
It was Holly. I haven't. Jazz has been out of town, so I haven't gotten her gift yet. So, but I mean, Holly got. Well, Holly and Steven are like big My Hero fans.
Yeah.
So they were just like, oh, bet they got me the shirt with the League of Villains on it. So they got me one with all of them.
Sweet.
And then they got me one. They got me this one this year with Toga on it. So
the League of Villains has a new name this year.
Oh yeah, the My Villain Academia joint.
The paranormal something front. It's weird.
Oh yeah. The Paranormal Liberation Front.
There you go.
Yeah. But I forgot you're on that. You're on that now. I've been reading the manga for it, so I'm like dummy ahead. So it's like, so today we're getting into our tops of anime and tops of music, our list for this year. Before that, though, I know, Zoe, you had told me before we started recording that you have some sort of gripe with something.
I have a bone to pick, and I hope this is the podcast that blows us up so many people can hear this. I have a bone to pick with the Persona 5 fandom. I am going through my first playthrough of Persona 5, and I love it. It's a great game. I've recently gotten into turn-based RPGs, and out of the ones I've played, it's my favorite so far. I'm 70 hours in, so I'm about halfway. It's great. I love the combat system, the life sim aspect, and what comes with the life sim aspect. Your main character is a straight man. As of now, yeah. I don't think you can romance the guys, but I know since the game came out, I knew that you can romance the girls in your life, and some are a little creepy. You can romance like your teacher or your doctor, even though you're in high school.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me that. That was kind of funny.
I think obviously since it's a video game, it's funny, and when you romance them, you get more power-ups. So I'm going to do it anyway. But there is one specific, one of his friends that I think is the best girl. But I've been programmed to think from social media that you've probably seen her. She's the nerdy girl with red hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Futaba.
Oh,
That's her
what is
name.
her? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Everyone online is like, oh my god, Futaba's the best girl. Futaba this, Futaba that. I just met her, and oh my god, no. She's a redditor. It's the dude. Okay, so she spends her whole life in like, I'm not gonna spoil anything in case, because we do want to do the video game anime episode.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna spoil anything huge, but like, her character is that she's been a shut-in for like a few years, and she has social anxiety and she doesn't like talking to people, but she's a hacker. So already off the bat, she's a little odd. She doesn't know how to talk to people, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, but whatever. That's like the first thing. The second thing is, dude, I don't know if you saw the Trash Taste figure special.
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, so I think Joey and Garnt. How do you say his name? Garnt?
Yeah, Garnt. Yeah.
Joey and Garnt talk about how Futaba is the type of girl to say poggers in real life, and oh my god, Garnt cannot be more correct. Holy shit, dude! There's like a scene where you finally make a deal with her, and that's how you start getting power ups. She's like, you find her in public because she wants to buy a game, and she thought she could go by herself, and then you find her, and then she hides behind you, which is fine. It's like a social anxiety thing, and I'm like, okay, I guess some people find that cute. Some people are like, oh, she relies on the main character, that's cute, whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then after that, she's talking about, oh, when I'm around you I feel calm. Are you a key item? Please be my key item. And I'm like, this is the most, this is what men who get no girls think video game girls are like. It's the fucking weirdest thing.
Yeah, I would definitely hate that. Not gonna lie, I definitely hate that.
Off the bat, I already thought the best girl was Makoto. She's like the smart one.
Okay.
She's like this and that. But I was waiting to see what the hype was with Futaba, and anyone who says she's the best girl gets no pussy. It's like, no.
That's just the stamp. Just the stamp. That's the correlation like, you're taking.
Yeah, dude. I was already like, let me see what the hype is, because maybe she's like a funny character, and she kind of is. She's funny, but
not like best girl material.
Dude, if you think that's what women are in real life, you're a fucking weirdo, bro.
Oh my god. I mean,
every time.
Okay. So would you? Okay, how would you feel about Chiaki? Because you like Chiaki from Danganronpa. Dude, so how do you take the two together? And you can't say you don't like Futaba and say you like Chiaki.
Here's the thing. You don't know how Futaba talks. It's 10 times worse.
It's worse than Chiaki?
Dude, because Chiaki is like somewhat normal, and Chiaki, like, yeah, she says like some gamer stuff, but then at the end she's like, okay, let's figure this shit out. Like, she's like, she could turn it on and off. Dude, Futaba is just, dude, she sits like L in chairs with like her knees up, and her and her back is like this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's tough.
And then there's parts where it's like, the guy who's taking care of you, he'll call you from your room. It's like, hey, come downstairs. We got to talk about something. And then she'll repeat, come downstairs. She's like a little kid because she hasn't been in society. Yes, it's, trust me, it's not Chiaki. It's nowhere near Chiaki.
It's not Chiaki?
No way.
Okay. I was about to say, you were very much into Chiaki when you started playing Dangan. So
once we start our video game anime adventure, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay. Because I said it, Persona 5, I've heard like very mixed reviews as far as the anime goes. Yeah, so I'll definitely have to give that a watch. But speaking of anime, all right, so Let's get into our end of the year lists. So what we decided to do was, in very much typical anime Twitter fashion, we're gonna do a 3x3. Not the. I mean, I definitely took the idea from Trash Taste doing 3x3s, but it's not like a new thing. So I mean, we're just gonna do a 3x3, and then our 10th entry is gonna be our honorable mention. So that's how we're gonna kind of start off. So Zoe, I know you're the newbie in the anime sphere, so I'm gonna let you go first with your 3x3. So what I'll say is probably like you can give your, what we'll do is we'll give a few words about like 5 through honorable mention through 5, and then from 5 to 1 we'll kind of talk a little bit more in detail about. So in order to keep things quick, that way we're not running through a bunch of anime and getting off topic a bunch of times to make this thing like 2 hours long. So like from honorable mention up to number 6, you can just give a couple words about, and then from 5 to 1, that's what the ones we can talk about. We'll do that for both. Yeah. So starting out with your honorable mention, what you got?
Okay, so my honorable mention is Skate the Infinity. It's a nice chiller, I think. The only thing that bothered me is every time I watched it, I just knew somewhere in the world there are girls that want these two main characters to kiss.
It gives very, very much yaoi energy.
It's very much fan service towards, I guess, women or gay people, for sure.
Yeah,
I liked it. I didn't think it was too over the top. I liked it.
All right, what you got next?
Number 9 is Blue Period. I'm watching it now. Another chiller. I like it very, very much. It's has to do with art, and I've always been interested in art. After Blue Period, Ranking of Kings. Great animation. I'm not done with it yet.
Oh yeah.
But I it's easy from the first episode. It's easy to get into.
Yeah, I feel you.
Next one is Star Wars Visions, actually.
Okay.
Coming in from Disney, very, very odd, but Star Wars Visions was entertaining. There are some episodes that are lacking, but the fact that like even Disney's getting into anime and like actual anime, like from actual studios, is pretty cool to me. And my number 6 is I guess, I don't know if it's controversial or not. It's Mugen Train, because Mugen Train's technically an arc now.
Yeah, I mean, no, that works. You can put Mugen Train there.
It was an arc already, but now it's like a TV arc.
Yeah, I mean, you could still count movies because it's still an anime. You can still count movies in the list. That makes sense.
Mugen Train was great. It made me tear up.
Yeah,
and I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, it was a great. One thing real quick before you go about Star Wars Visions. So Star Wars Visions did not make my list because I felt as though it didn't have enough solid episodes. Like all of them were good. They were definitely ones that were like way top tier compared to some of the other ones. Like the Ronin one. If they had just made a series on that alone, that would have been number 1 for me.
Dude, Ronin is so sick.
100%.
The only
dope.
reason it made it on my list is, you know me, I'm a big Disney Parks fan.
Yeah.
And I just think the idea of them, because after Star Wars Visions, the success of Star Wars Visions, they started buying more anime. Or like, not buying, but like, they're doing their own animes now. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, they're getting more anime IPs. Yeah, they're getting more anime IPs and actually venturing into that world because they saw that Visions was actually like taking off. So I think that was cool. All right, so get into your top 5.
Okay, my top 5s. So number 5. I think I told you before this that I didn't watch as many anime as you, so I didn't think I was gonna have any from this year. But honestly,
yeah.
No, my number 4 technically isn't from this year, but my number 5 is. It's SSSS Dynazenon.
Okay.
Dynazenon is so fucking fun. I love what Trigger is doing with their Gridman universe now.
Yeah.
I saw Gridman this year too, but Dynazenon came out I think last season. I think obviously Trigger Studios, it's one of my favorite looking studios. I love their designs. They had an episode. They had 2 episodes on Visions, and their first one, it's classic Trigger art style, and then Dynazenon is just.
Yeah.
I think I told you about Gridman, and you were like, oh, "I'm not really into mech anime." It's
Yeah,
not,
I'm still not, but
it's not technically like a mech anime. Like, definitely there's mechs, obviously, and there's like, oh my god,
like like Gundams.
not even
Kaiju,
Gundams,
okay.
but it has to do with kaiju and stuff like that. But it's like it's more of like the first one, Gridman, is more like a mystery, and Dynazenon is also like mysterious in ways like you need to, there's stuff that you need to like figure out. It's not just fucking get in the Ava, Shinji type stuff.
Yeah, I feel you.
Dude, and even it's interesting because like after I watch Dynazenon, I kind of go on in a rabbit hole online, and on Twitter there was like this mech video game that had a bunch of different animes, different mechs from different animes, and a lot of people were like comparing. I think they were comparing Gridman to Darling in the Franxx because it came out around the same time, but they were talking about how Gridman is so much better of a mech anime, even though it's not a mech anime. That's what the fans of mech animes were saying.
Yeah, because Darling in the Franxx, oh my gosh, Darling in the Franxx is one of the biggest examples of like wasted potential. Yeah, because it starts out amazing, and then by the time you get to like episode 9, it turns into an absolute train wreck. Like there are hella plot holes. There's just like a lot of like stuff going on. They were just like they changed they really turned the plot around for some weird reason. It just didn't make sense, and it was weird. But because it had a great 8-episode run. Episode 9, it was like it just dropped off.
So my what's it called? Validation is that the mech fans rather take Gridman over Darling, even though it's not a mech anime. That's my validation.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. What you got in number 4?
My number 4 is because I saw it this year. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
I fucking adore Jujutsu Kaisen. I love everything about it. I don't know why. I think I compare it a lot to Demon Slayer, not because they're the same, but it's because like I heard about them a lot, like at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think even though I do like Demon Slayer, I think it does comedy a little better than Demon Slayer. It's it's a little more subtle. It's not over the top, crazy, whatever like Demon Slayer is. But also, I just love the powers that everyone has, and like the way they use different stuff. I love the fact that fucking Sukuna is in the main character. Like,
yeah.
That's, at least, again, for someone who has recently gotten into their anime explosion, that was very interesting to me. I love Nobara. I love Megami. I love all the characters. Gojo's fucking funny as hell. And could probably beat Goku with his hands behind his back.
Bro, I literally saw like a Gojo versus Goku debate on TikTok, and it was the most toxic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was so bad because they're trying to talk like people are really trying to like debate what infinity is.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, I mean, I guess because people really don't fully know what it is, it's kind of hard to talk about. But I was like, if you have something where literally you can't allow things to touch you physically, like how are you gonna get hit?
Insane.
Right?
That's insane.
It's stupid. But like also I as far as the anime goes, I know a lot of fans are gonna be thinking about how they're gonna write Gojo now because he's this impossible character.
Sure.
who literally like he's literally like a kind of a Deus Ex Machina type character.
Yeah.
And like I'm not gonna spoil anything because I'm definitely caught up on the manga and stuff. But I mean like they're gonna find really creative ways to not have that be the case.
Okay.
And them exploring that is actually pretty interesting as far as the story in general goes. But he definitely, when I first read it and then when I watched it, I was like, I don't understand how any of these other characters could even like progress as characters, because if anything gets in trouble, they just call Gojo. But I think now, like the way they the way they wrote the story actually like makes sense. But what was I about to say? Oh yeah, also saw on TikTok that apparently Sukuna's tats when he shows up on Yuji aren't real. We're only ones to see that. Like when Sukuna shows up, like the tats that are on his body, like they're not what the characters see, it's what we see. It's the same thing with Demon Slayer. How like none of the effects of the powers are actual visible, which is so dumb to me. But
I also think
that's because this thing I told you the other day, where Tanjiro like fall, like if they say, oh yeah, the water isn't real when they're doing or whatever, but Tanjiro like gets hit and falls, and like a wave of water picks him up, and I was like, so how does that make sense?
Yeah, I also, it's weird because I think for Demon Slayer, I think those effects when they're fighting is a big selling point. I think when you show people fights and they see all this, because it's so cool, like the fire and the water is all different art style and it looks so nice. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why the creator, I mean, maybe he has artistic integrity, but I don't know. If I was a creator, I would have just been like, yeah, sure, they're real.
Yeah, because like you could just make it like a power system if you really wanted to, but it's not. It's whatever. It's not a big thing. Keep going. Move on. Keep going. I'm gonna go on this forever.
Okay. Now the top three. My top two were hard to decide on, but number three was definitely My Hero. I think the last arc that I just saw is my favorite arc by far. It used to be the Shihei Saikai arc, but My Villain Academia blew that out of the water. My Villain Academia is so entertaining to watch, and I was texting you while shit was happening. Do we care about spoilers in this episode?
I mean, I guess I don't know, because it's one of those things where people really want to like. I guess we're low key recommending some anime too. So if there are people that that haven't seen it, you can put light ones in there, not ones that are just like character reveals or people that are, you know what I'm saying? You just don't do that. That's basically the only thing.
I was texting you about Twice and
yes,
the episode Sad Man's Parade, and I was like, this is fucking sick. Twice goes crazy. And fucking oh my god, I always forget his name. His name is hard to remember. The main guy from League of Villains. I always forget his name.
Shigaraki?
Shigaraki.
Is it Shigaraki?
Yeah. His character development is like crazy in this arc. It's super, super, super fun to watch, super cool. And even the arc before that, it's this season of My Hero Academia. It's very interesting. The arc before that was Class A versus Class B. Yeah. And that was already super fun to watch. But then like the arc after that it grabs your attention, and I think that's more plot heavy.
Yeah, I think it's a good arc. What I will say this though, the way I know a lot of fans of My Hero Academia were, the MHA fandom is a little bit a little shaky, but and they weren't too impressed with I guess the animation part of this arc, and it was definitely how it was like kind of lacking, because if you look at some of the panels they were comparing to the manga, like they have some validity to them, but not 100%. Like you could tell like they didn't have as big of a budget that they with My Hero, because Studio Bones probably had other projects they were working on primarily Ranking of Kings too, because you could tell like the animation for Ranking of Kings it goes crazy, and then My Heroes for this arc was in.
They probably pushed a lot of the budget onto the movie because the movie looked fine.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
But also,
I mean,
from a regular My Hero fan, I thought it
yes.
was fine.
Yes, from somebody that's not a toxic My Hero fan, it's definitely a good arc. I'm excited for the future arcs for that. 'Cause I know, like, for you, and for I know if Holly and Steven are listening, I know it's the My Hero picks up and like Shigaraki becomes a very top tier villain. I know he's already really good now, but he becomes a very, very, very scary villain moving forward. And Deku gets some cool powers as well. So I think it's gonna be really dope for you guys to see, for real. So what's number 2?
Okay, this is where it got hard because this was my number 1 at one point.
Yeah.
You recommended this one to me. It's a Vivi Fluorite Eye song.
Yes. Yeah.
You recommended me that and Mars Red at the same time, and I watched them both.
Yeah.
But this one is just so fucking like cool. It's like I found it interesting because the way the episodes are set up, if you just look at it from like a distance, you would think it's just like villain of the week.
Yeah.
But even though it feels like that, it's still connected. Like it's still a story driven anime. It's not villain of the week. It's crazy how much Vivi changes throughout 12 episodes it is?
Yeah, I think so.
It's literally it's only 12 episodes, but still it feels like because of how much time goes through this anime, it feels like I don't know, like 3 seasons almost. It's crazy.
Yeah, like she goes through a lot of different transformations because you got to think like that bear. I forgot the actual like computer program's name, but it goes to find different Vivies at different points in time.
Yeah.
So whenever the new episode comes up, it's always a different Vivi. So it's that, or unless like or Diva, I guess because there's 2 different ones. Like has Diva's like the performer, and you got Vivi, the one that like actually does all the crazy stuff, and so eventually they become one, and then so like he visits a different version of that AI at different periods of time when shit happens. Mm-hmm. That because so whenever you see her, it's not always the same character. So I think that's what gives it a little more, I guess, variety to it, because she's been through these things, but now it goes back to her normalcy. And then out of nowhere, what could have been, what feels like the next episode of us could be like 5 years for her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that robot comes back to help her out.
And what also made me like it is that it's like it's not super depressing, but there are some depressing points.
Yes.
Depressing, not in a way where it's like, ugh, did that really happen? Depressing in it's hard to explain. Like it's a good kind of depressing. It's like this had to happen for something else to happen. I think. Do you know what episode I'm talking about? Yeah,
it's like narrative. Like it's sad, but narratively it makes sense. Like they're not just doing it. Yeah, they're not doing it for just for you to feel sad about a certain thing to happen. They're like, okay, narratively, if this doesn't happen, it causes a bunch of other random shit to happen that could go wrong. So
it's I'm specifically talking about, again, no spoilers, but the episode where she has her alter ego. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
That specific episode, and then there's scenes where they go into like the operating system and it looks like a classroom.
Yep.
And then she's talking through like the door. That episode got to me. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that was that's what solidified it for me as a really good show when they had that one. That definitely was a really cool thing. I was also talking about, I think it's like either the first or second episode where she saves like the plane.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, so like that one, so like the ending of that episode and the beginning of the second episode, I was like, narratively that makes sense, but Jesus Christ, that was so sad. I was like, oh man, because like you see the interaction that Vivi had with that one character, and you're like, okay, that's really sweet. Like, she saved everybody, and she could have it's, and she could move on to the next mission. But no, like, yeah, I thought it was really, I thought it was really good. They narratively make certain sad moments work. I thought it was really good.
Also, again, I think I talked about this with JoJo, with Jolene, even though I haven't seen Jolene, and I was kind of proven wrong a little bit. But
Okay.
Vivi or Diva is not really sexualized. She's just kind of a badass.
Yeah, they don't really put her in anything super crazy,
And I think
which I thought was really good.
I think that's a breath of fresh air for anime, because I think in the 2010s, I think it was really hard to find an anime where like a chick wasn't sexualized even a little bit.
True.
I think anime is getting a little better now. Obviously, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, what about Attack on Titan?" Yeah, I get it, but that's one example out of how many?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something where I guess it just depends on the kind of story they're trying to tell,
Yeah.
too. So like if it's just like a regular shonen with a lot of just if a regular shonen is gonna be popular, you're probably gonna have those one or two characters that are sexualized pretty badly, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's just kind of a fact of
Sure.
of Japan in general. It's not. It's like
Yeah.
a Japanese thing. It's not even like a. Well, I think it's like a world culture thing, not just
Oh,
a
definitely,
Japanese thing.
definitely.
But
And I'm not
yeah, I
complaining
think-
about all anime, because as a straight man, boob good. But
Yeah, I mean, like, it's-
sometimes you just kind of want to see a badass
it's a
be a
little too
badass.
much.
Yes, yes.
it's too much. It's definitely too much. I think also the just on a weird tangent, the sexualization of like characters that are obviously in high school. Like, for as much as I like Toga as a character, it's really bad what they do to her sometimes, and I don't like it at all.
I thought she just wore the schoolgirl outfit just because, but then I think I found
Yeah.
out. I think in one of the latest episodes, this last arc, I think like, yeah, she's like 17, like she's still in high school, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah,
Not
and,
even,
like,
not
yeah,
even
that's just-
Toga. Fucking, they kind of milked Ashido this last arc too. There were some
Yeah.
shots where they like, obviously Minetta's tiny, and
Yeah.
the shot is focusing on Minetta, but like in the foreground, Ashido's ass is in frame. And you're
Right. Like,
And
or
you're
but-
like, all right, come on.
Yeah, or like how they have to make, or how literally one of the female characters, I forgot her name, because the girl that turns invisible, how she literally has to get butt ass naked in order for her power to work.
Which I think it's like, it's a funny joke, but
If
I
you
don't-
think about
like-
it in actual context, you're like, what the fuck is this?
yeah, there was the episode where they're fighting the teachers, and I forgot his name, but the sharpshooter teacher
Yes. I
like
understand.
like bumps into her chest with his elbow, and then she's like, "What the hell? You're such a pervert!" This and that, blah blah. It's like, all right, it was funny the first time.
How was I supposed to know? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's random tangent.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, again, it's not because I do love My Hero, so it's not anything that's like I'm offended, crazy. Oh my god! It's just sometimes it's a breath of fresh air when a female character is just a character instead of a sexual.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And then what is your number one anime of 2021?
I think you already know since I haven't said it yet.
Yeah.
But this anime fucking hit me hard. For a week straight, I was just, if I was alone in my room listening to music or driving at night in my car, it would literally, I would think of this anime and just rethink life choices and think of like, dude, what if this happened? What if this and that? Fucking Sunny Boy hit me hard.
Oh yeah. Wow, I can't believe Sonny Boy jumped up that high.
Dude, I remember I saw the first 2 episodes. It's hard for me to watch animes that aren't dubbed because I watch a lot of anime while I'm working. So
Yeah.
since I can't read and work at the same time, I usually just watch the dub. So I saw the first 2 episodes, and since that anime has a lot of reading, if it's subbed, I would fall asleep because I would watch it at night. I would try to watch it, and then
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I can't fall asleep. There's way too much to pay attention. So I waited for the dubs. I waited until there was like 8 of the episodes dubbed, and I saw the last 2 and subbed.
Okay.
And dude, honestly, both are fine. I think, to be honest, if you're a veteran of subbed anime, you could watch it in subbed. It's fine. But if you are not, and you like dubs, watch the dub. There's way too much shit to like pay attention to. They talk really fast, and sometimes you'll miss shit if you're reading, and then you can't miss shit, so you're gonna have to rewind, and you need to pay attention.
Yeah.
So I think the dub, and to be honest, the voice acting in the dub is fine because again, it's not really a shonen. It's just like normal talking. It's normal dialogue. It's fine.
Yeah.
But dude, just the story. Again, no spoilers, especially for this one. Just the story hits hard towards the end. And again, the same thing with Vivi, but on a different level. It's depressing in a good way. It makes you feel something. I remember I texted you about the ending, and I was like, are you kidding me? And I just sat there. I literally sat there in my chair like, dude, what?
It's good. I think the biggest thing about it is the fact that they make almost everything about the show open ended. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, well, I mean, you can make your own assumptions and have your own kind of headcanon about what happened with the worlds, what happened when the ending happened, or like how the ending is what the ending's supposed to mean, or like why the kids got to the world in the first place, who is the creator of the worlds, like how do they travel everywhere. Like you could really make a lot of your own headcanons about stuff. And I think that's one of the best things going for that anime. I know some people are going to watch it and be like, well, I mean, it doesn't explain anything, so why would I want to watch this? I don't get it, right? That's not the point. You're not supposed to really get it. It's a thing it's mainly up to your own interpretation. So I think that's why I think it's really good too.
I think an argument towards that is, you know, as much as the characters know. It's not
exactly.
It's not something that it's like, oh, how did this happen? And the character goes, because no, something happens, and the characters will not know how that happened. You are on the same level as the characters. It's like, and the thing is, a lot of anime, I guess high school is like a very big cultural thing for Japan. So a lot of animes have high school kids. But those high school kids usually in anime are like crazy strategists and top tier fighters, and they know, but the high school kids in this anime don't know anything. Just how kids are supposed to not know anything.
Yeah, like some kids are smart and have certain like attributes about them that make them like a little bit more popular than others, but for the most part, like it's like regular high school students. I think the reason why high school and middle school is so popular among just stuff like this is because that's where they're really trying to sell the shows and the manga to. So obviously, if a young high school boy in Japan wants a story to read, like a manga to read, obviously having characters that are his age, you know what I'm saying, in the show, where so like he can see that and he kind of put himself in the shoe of the main character. That's probably what the main thing is. So I think having high school, I wish they would do more college stuff in Japan. I wish they would do more college level stuff in Japan, but that's just my own personal thing. But that's really why the high school theme is so important for Japanese culture, especially in like manga and anime stuff.
Yeah, and it's something I was gonna add was like playing Persona. Like, it's an anime game.
Mhm.
You're supposed to be a second year in high school, but you know how anime is sometimes. You're basically like a young adult, you know.
Yeah.
That I mean that's how the characters are drawn and that's how they act. They don't really act like high school kids.
Right.
In Sunny Boy they do. They 100% do. Even though again, voice actors are casted for some things in the subbed and in the dub. Yeah, they sound older, but the way they act and react to things, like they're put in this crazy situation that no one ever will ever experience in real life. And some kids are still worried about like, I'm the best baseball player. Like,
the kids weren't trying to get back to their worlds for like, oh, I'm trying to save the world so I can get back to it and be fine. And be like a hero. It's like, I want to get back to the world so I can graduate and go to college.
exactly. Yeah. They're still kids.
That was their thing. They're still kids. I think that was the coolest thing too. So, wow, I was not expecting Sunny Boy to be that high,
dude.
Since you didn't.
It affected me hard.
Yeah, since you didn't mention it at all, I was like, oh, is he really gonna go with the Sunny Boy pickup? That's great. That's a good list, solid list. I guess like, you know, for somebody that hasn't been too involved in anime up to this point, you know, you got some good ones on that list. Yeah, some are actually similar to me too.
I'm trying to be open minded with anime because a lot of my friends here who have been into anime and always told me like, you should get into it. They're usually only into shonens. They're like obviously Attack on Titan. I saw my friends, My Hero, One Punch Man, Mob Psycho, like shit like that. Which, dude, I like all those shows, but sometimes I want a breather, like Skate the Infinity, Blue Period.
Right.
Soon I'm gonna start. Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, even though that title is wild. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. So I'm very open minded.
Right.
I want to experience. Yeah. And recently I've just been dreaming about like Japanese culture and going to Japan and shit. So I want to be open minded about everything.
Bet. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and do my anime list real quick.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back. Sorry, my laptop was gonna die. Had to change scenery a little bit, so make sure hopefully it doesn't die on me. It should be charging, but if not, I guess we'll figure something out. But okay, so my list for anime of the year. I'll start with my honorable mention, and the reason why this made an honorable mention list is because I didn't want to feel like a normie. Even though it was very good this year, it was the new Attack on Titan season. I think, you know, I haven't read any of the manga for it, and I feel like I was going to at first, but considering like other things that happened, I guess the people's reception of the ending, I kind of wanted to just like, you know, naturally just watch it. Just anime wise, because I didn't want to be a part of that group that's like, oh my god, the ending sucks. Just wait till y'all get to this part. I didn't want to be that guy.
Sure.
I didn't want to be that guy. So just watching Attack on Titan, straight up, no manga. I know it's weird for me to say that, but definitely this season was great. Like the twists, the turns, the Eren being an absolute fucking Chad for the entire season was so good. I love people like some people hate Eren as a character now. I think his character development from this happy-go-lucky kid turned like angsty teen.
Yeah.
From him being a happy-go-lucky kid turning into angsty teen, then turning into a fucking terrorist. I just thought it was a great character arc for him.
Yeah,
because a lot of people are going to be like that.
Yeah, I don't like him as a person if he was a real person, but his character and character arc is great.
Yes. And it's one of those things where a lot of people would be just like that. Like you get placed in that situation and you get placed with all this power. Most people, you know, with human nature, most people are going to be assholes about it. Nobody's going to be this knight in shining armor to save everybody. It's like, no, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to make sure everybody that caused us pain is going to suffer for it. Is it the right decision? Probably not.
Not everyone could be. Deku.
Right, not everybody can be this like this crazy savior in shonen.
Yeah.
Is it the right decision? No. Right? Is it? But is it the?
Yeah.
Is it one that actually makes sense for his character? Yes. So I think that it was. So Attack on Titan was just really dope. Coming in at number 9 is 86. Okay, and so you're gonna laugh because I'm not a big fan of mecha anime, but this one isn't really. I don't know. It's like it has a lot to do with certain mech stuff. Are you gonna look up what 86 is?
Yes.
It's actually really good. It's like one of those things where a lot of my mutuals on Twitter have been talking about it. A lot of people that I see on Twitter have been saying it's their anime of the year, and I do think it's really good. I've only watched the first core, so the first like maybe 12, 13 episodes. I haven't seen the other 12 because they did 2 cores for 2 seasons of anime.
Cool.
And so I'll probably end up finishing at like I guess in the new year when those last 2 episodes comes out because it got hit with like COVID destroyed the production of this this anime. Like a lot of the episodes got delayed and they couldn't really get a lot of stuff off the ground with certain things, but overall it's turned into a really solid show, and it's kind of like it's a mecha / like political drama with with some other like sci-fi type elements to it. I don't really want to give too much of it away because I really want people to watch it because it's really good.
What's it on? Is it on like Netflix or Funimation?
It's on Crunchyroll. It's on Crunchyroll. Yeah, so it's on Crunchyroll. They got so when the last 2 episodes of the second core I think come out in March because they got pushed back so hard with production stuff with COVID. So definitely I'm gonna when those 2 drop, I'm definitely gonna go and watch that second core. It's really good. Number 8 is Vivi. Number 8 is Vivi for me.
Oh shit!
I know I recommended it to you and I finished it. I think it's a phenomenal show. There were other shows on this list that I thought I got more enjoyment out of, but definitely Vivi is one of those shows that's really good. I think one thing you didn't really touch on as much is the action direction of Vivi and some of the fight scenes in there. Like there's like a couple of different scenes in there where the fluidity of everything, and it's just like it's a great a lot of those scenes are just really phenomenal. So action direction is top notch there. Number 7 is so I'm a big fan of like artsy type shows, like shows that aren't just like a lot of shows that have a different kind of a left of center theme, art style, or storyline, plotline, stuff like that. And so Mars Red definitely made this list for me at number 7. Because it's a vampire anime and it's really good. But one thing I really liked about it is the storyline and how it's told, because it's based off of a theater screenplay that the writer of the show made.
Yeah.
So it's like so basically everything that's in the show that's minus maybe the action scenes, the fighting scenes or whatever.
Sure.
Most of that stuff is written for a screenplay. And so how they align their shot, the cinematography, how they align their shots, how they do lighting, how they do certain dialogue cues, how they do certain interactions between characters, all of that looks like a screenplay. So like in the first episode when the characters are like walking through this like underground tunnel area, every time one character talks, a light will shine on him. And when he gets done talking and the other character talks, a second light will show on him behind him.
Yeah.
So they'll be walking. So like they'll walk and a light will shine on him. Then the light will turn off, and then the second light will turn on for the other guy as they're just walking through this tunnel. It's just like little subtle stuff like that, what I think is really, really dope. And so it turned out to be a pretty good story overall. But
yeah,
definitely
a good one. I liked
Mars
Red. You recommended me Mars Red. It didn't really click with me all the way. I think the ending didn't click for me. I don't think it was bad. Again, it's not, oh my God, don't watch this.
Yeah.
I loved the art style. The art style almost looked classical Asian.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yes.
And like you said, it was it did feel like a play or even a soap opera at sometimes. It was cool. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. Number 6 is Super Crooks. Number 6 is Super Crooks.
I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my watch list.
Man, Super Crooks is so good because I don't know, I'm definitely a fan of the left of the different alternative routes to
Sure.
go with superhero stuff. Like, I'm a fan of The Boys. I'm a fan of Invincible, right? And so Super Crooks was obviously giving me something that I liked because it definitely told a different side of superhero stories. And this one isn't just like, oh, they're just it's not like, oh, they're telling the story perspective of the bad guys, which that is a big premise part.
Sure, yeah.
But you kind of look into the psyche and like of how like some people become villains and how it's not always some kind of big grandiose story, some kind of villain origin story type thing. It's like, oh well, some people are just generally don't want to be good people. There's that. And then like you kind of really fall in love with some of these characters as they progress through, even though some of them make really stupid decisions narratively. It makes sense for their character.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, well, I get it. And then the action scenes are really cool. The power, like how the guys have powers. Even the main antagonist and how he interacts with the characters is really cool too. So I'm definitely a show you should pick up for real. It's very good. So coming in at number 5 is actually Skate the Infinity for me.
Oh, nice.
I think, yeah. So wow. Skate the Infinity was really good because for the longest time, I was like, man, like they should make. So okay, so how I came to really like Skate the Infinity was there was another anime I was watching at the time that's older. It's called Prince of Stride, and it's basically like somewhat of a racing / parkour anime. I kind of want to do a video about it eventually,
Sure.
Because I think it's an interesting anime to go off of. Prince of Stride. It's very it takes something like parkour and turns it into this kind of like the sports anime type storyline, which I think is cool. And so when I saw they were coming out with a skateboarding anime, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so dope because I'm like, because it kind of brought me back to my childhood when I had my first skateboard, when I used to play Tony Hawk religiously. So yeah. I think it was really cool. I just love the character designs are really cool. The art style is really good. The way they race and how like the people twist and turn and through the tracks is like very I don't know, it's like very fluid, right? And the characters are really cool. I just really enjoyed as far as like the story. Like the story is pretty good. It's not anything too super like crazy, anything out of the ordinary, but it knows what it is and it does those things very well. And I will say this: I did laugh at the Discount Dio main character or main villain. The Discount Dio main villain. I loved him. Anytime he was on screen, he was great.
Who's
honestly as soon as he
Juliet?
Every time he came on screen, I just kept yelling Zawardo at the screen every time he come on screen. He was great. I thought it was good. So number 4, this one I really nobody really talked about that much is Nomad Megalobox, the second season of Megalobox. Nobody talked about that.
I haven't seen it yet. You told
and
me to watch it.
I thought it was one of the best of this season. And one thing that people didn't like about it that I loved and why it made this list is that it doesn't just focus on hype boxing fights anymore. Like obviously it's part of it because Megalobox is supposed to be this like big hype train type anime where you're just getting in these fights and you're doing whatever, right? And I think it's really great how they do that, but they actually have like a storyline now where and some really good character development for Joe. Like for him to kind of it kind of tells it doesn't give you like the backstory of what happened to him between seasons 1 and 2. They kind of just like give it to you in spurts. They don't just have like episodes where it's like, oh, this is what happened. They kind of let you kind of see Joe's breakdown and Joe's it's hard to say, like Joe's like I guess redemption arc type story.
Sure.
And how like he's kind of become this outcast, this hated guy, meets up with these people, helps them through a very troubling time, and then kind of realizes reinvigorates his purpose, his will to kind of go out into the world and make things better for not only himself but for other people. And it deals with some cool, like definitely some topical things like immigration and homelessness and drug addiction. I think it's like really cool how they tell that story, and the ending isn't the best. And I know like some people are gonna have an issue with that because there isn't some huge grandiose fight to end season 2 like they did season 1. But I still think as an overall collective, that anime is really good. So number 3 was Sunny Boy. So since we already talked about it, because it's your number 1 anime, we're not going to talk too much about it. But number 3 was Sunny Boy for me.
We didn't touch upon the art style. I think the art style was interesting as well.
Yes, it kind of looks like the same thing with Mars Red. How the characters look like they're painted on.
Yeah,
they don't look drawn. Like, you know what I'm saying? They look like looks like a painting, and even the other worlds and how they kind of travel to different places. It's all of those look like different. They're all differently drawn places too. I think that was really a really interesting touch they put on that. So number 2, again, we already talked about it, is Blue Period.
Nice.
Blue Period is number 2 for me. It is a absolute phenomenal show. And what's crazy is episode 1 is the reason why I decided to do this Nostalgia Plus Ultra thing so heavily.
Oh shit!
Because
nice.
I remember, like at the time of watching this, I was like, man, like, me and you had the idea of Nostalgia Plus Ultra, and kind of like had that kind of when talks about it, and we're just kind of like, oh well, I mean, we can figure something out. And then I remember, I just wasn't really having the best day, and I watched the first episode of Blue Period. Literally, when that episode ended, like I went, got the RSS thing, did research on this program we're using right now.
Hell yeah.
Did some of the logo stuff. Like I was really into it. So I think I really owe a lot of what we're doing right now to Blue Period. So I really think that's like the first episode was really important and very pivotal to me. So I think like this is definitely gonna be an anime that I talk about for a while. And I think it's gonna be a big one for me.
Yeah, I'm on episode 4 so far. It's great. It's very much recommended.
Yeah, it really gives you a good perspective, because it's like not everything good always happens to, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, I found my purpose and now everything's gonna fall into place for me. It's like, no, like this, like Yaguchi actually struggles a lot, and actually has stuff where he feels like he's not good enough, where he feels like he is steadily improving, and then something will knock him back on his ass, and now he has to keep on going, which is really important for people to see. And I think it's he's a really good character to kind of follow. His character arc has been really good. I think I might pick up the manga for it, actually, honestly.
Nice.
I think that's gonna be really good. So my number 1 anime of the year, and I think you already know where I'm going with this, is Odd Taxi. Odd Taxi is the one.
I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and get a Crunchyroll because you've been talking about it so much.
You need to, bro. It's so good. It's so good. The storytelling, the characters, the dialogue, and it looks really kiddie upon first glance. Like they don't really give you much to go off of in terms of like the bio when you look at it on Crunchyroll. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at it, you're like, oh, this might be something for kids. I don't really want, but like you really gotta watch it because it has a really cool premise. Like the story, and it don't really like dwell on a lot of things too much, and it's told in a way, I don't know who said this, it's kind of told in the way of like a Tarantino type movie, where stuff is given to you, and it's almost everything is important, but it won't be important until later parts in the story. Like you'll see, like a character will have like maybe 2 seconds of screen time in one episode, and then the next episode is a whole episode about that character. and now and then that character becomes this like lurking figure throughout the entire rest of the season. And then when you get to that last episode where literally everything that was every character you saw that had some sort of screen time has a big climactic moment all at the end of that season. And I think that's what makes it really cool. It's like they show you stuff, and like if you forget about it, then you're definitely gonna see it again. It's really cool how they tell that. Cool. And I think it deals with a lot of like topical things nowadays, especially in society, like trying to go viral on the internet, and a lot of the I guess the issue with gacha games. Like they deal with that one too.
Oh, nice.
They deal with like just like certain stuff like people going in with the wrong crowd and certain existential stuff, and how people lie on the internet about their age, about the money they have. You know what I'm saying? It's like different stuff like that. And you got a lot of cool topical societal things they talk about, which I think is really important. And the way they do it is not to like very ham-fisted. It's like they just kind of show it to you and say, this is what this character does, and it has consequences to it. So it's really cool how they do that. So if you have not watched Odd Taxi, please go pick that up. It is a phenomenal show. See what time we're looking at. So I knew this episode was probably going to be long as hell. So we can now pivot into our our albums of the year. So it's the same premise. You kind of give your honorable mention and your honorable mention, and then like your 9 best, and then I guess from 5 up, you can get more into detail with it. But 6 to honorable mention, you can definitely just kind of mention it if you want to go through. So we'll swing it back around to you, Zo. What's your honorable mention for this year?
I'll say less of the 10 through 6 this time around.
Okay. Gotcha.
Honorable mention is Vince Staples by Vince Staples.
Okay.
Good album. Just I don't think it's as good as his other ones. Number 9, I got Sad Night Dynamite by Sad Night Dynamite. Again, another self-titled.
Okay.
Interesting. If you like the Gorillaz, you might like these guys. Next one, LP by JPEG Mafia. I think it's Peggy at his best.
Very good album.
I think it's in parentheses I put the offline version. Offline version has some samples that he couldn't clear, and it's on his Bandcamp, and I downloaded it for $1. So it's worth it.
Wow.
The next one is Tungsten by Healy. We talked about this, I think, either last episode or 2 episodes ago. It was one of my album recommendations. Great album. Chiller. Number 6. I don't know about you. You might not like this placement, but it's The House is Burning by Isaiah Rashad.
Okay.
Great album. I think it's great, but I think the top 5 hit me a little more this year.
I feel you.
And talking about top 5, number 5, The Melodic Blue by Baby Keem. I fucking love this album.
Oh my gosh.
Even Range Brothers. I know Range Brothers the ending is whack. I'll agree with that. But I think the part 1 is catchy, and part 2 they go off. I think part 2 is great. Yes, part 3 is let's get to shit. Top of the morning. I get it. It's annoying. but there are songs on this album that I just listened to like on repeat when it came out. Like Gorgeous. I love Gorgeous. South Africa. Family Ties is great. I love Boo Man, Do-Rag Activity, First Order of Business, Vent, Lost Souls with Brent Faiyaz. It's just...
That song goes crazy.
That
song goes crazy.
It's a solid album by someone that I think not a lot of people give enough credit to. I think a lot of people see Baby Keem as this loud ignorant rapper, and that's all he is. Which, yeah, sure, he has his ignorant stuff, his hype stuff. But I think he's more talented than people give him credit for.
Yeah, I think his. Well, I mean, that's why he came in though, because with "Die for My Bitch," it has hella ignorant tracks.
It's called "Die for My Bitch."
You got to really look through some of the deeper cuts to see where his style could go. Mm-hmm. But if you're just looking at songs like "Orange Soda," you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you're gonna have that kind of perception of him. So I think I like the Melodic Blue. It did not make my list, but I could see why it didn't make your list.
Yeah. At number 4, and before I get to number 4, I think our lists being somewhat different, but also in both anime and music, somewhat different, but also somewhat similar, is cool. I think it shows the different mindsets we have, and we could talk about it and shit like that.
Right.
I think number 4, I think, is another one that's not going to be on your list either. Number 4 is "Believe in Me, Who Believes in You" by Aries. It's a certain type of music that really sticks with me. It's I grew up listening to a lot of pop punk. And then as I got older, I was a fan of rap. And then Aries just makes emo trap that doesn't really sound like Trippie Redd. I think I've told you before, if Blink-182 rapped, it's what Aries would sound like.
Okay.
And I just there's 2 songs on the album that I feel like were made just to get like popular. They're a little formulaic, but the rest of the album is just, if you like pop punk music, if you like Blink-182 and bands like that, I think you would very much like the material in this album. It's very much, I think we talked about it with Healy, it's holding on to your youth, or talking about girls, talking about friends and stuff like that, which I enjoy. It's something I can relate to. And I love the art that he did because he does his own art. And I got one of the capsules, and it came with this, which I'm going to hang up in my room. Kind of sick.
Oh, that's kind of dope. Oh, with the little half moon thing? I like that.
Yeah, and he does his own art,
cool.
and I think it's cool. Now, number 3 is Roadrunner by Brockhampton. I fucking love Brockhampton. You know how much I love Brockhampton. And after they kicked out Amir a few years ago, and they came out with Iridescence, I thought they had lost their luster. I thought they were going through too much stuff, and Iridescence is good, but it's not their best. And then they came out with Ginger, and they were back on top. And I think they're just continuing that momentum with Roadrunner. Every song on Roadrunner is like almost perfect. It doesn't have a skip for me. Genuinely, it obviously I love like their rap, like boom bap songs, like Windows. It's dark and it's gritty, but then I love Don't Shoot Up the Party, which has like these weird synths and weird drums, and like I love everything about this group. And I think they gave more shine to obviously Jabba, or this album was made after his father passed away, and he has a lot of deep cutting verses on this album. But they also gave some more shine to like Bareface. Bareface has more verses instead of just choruses and hooks. He has a lot more verses.
Yeah.
He gets to talk his shit. Kevin is Kevin. Merlin is Merlin. Matt Champion is Matt Champion. Like, they're on their shit, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
So Roadrunner by Brockhampton is a very, very big recommendation. Now my number 2 is Hotel TV by Lawrence. which is a big switch up.
I knew Lawrence was gonna be on that list. I didn't know it was gonna be one or two, but I knew Lawrence was gonna be on that list.
It's a big switch up from my top 5 because the rest are rap. And Lawrence is just these two white kids from New York who decided to make like big band R&B soul music, kind of. Not R&B like fucking Trey Songz and Chris Brown, just like more like with trumpets and brass and guitars, like old school back in the day R&B, even before the 90s. Just soulful music. Like literally, you can't tell now, but in their early stuff, when I first heard about them, I thought they were black. Like it's a type of, genuinely, it's the way Gracie sings, because it's a brother and a sister, and the way the sister Gracie sings, if you haven't seen them, you would think she's like a black gospel singer. The way she's very unique, and so is Clyde, the brother. His voice is very gravelly, but even though it's deep and gravelly, he can hit those high notes. And if you're interested in just like a big band sound, you know, fucking brass and trombones and saxophones and stuff like that, it's a great, I fucking driving to work at 6 a.m. this year, blasting this music, singing at the top of my lungs. I love this. And they have kind of their own version of It's Gonna Be Me by NSYNC. I think it was NSYNC. It wasn't the Backstreet Boys. It was NSYNC.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, and it's also catchy. They're signed to John Bellion, which me and you are both fans of, very big fans of. John Bellion is on the album, and his verse is, because he basically produced this whole album, and his verse is kind of like this veteran who took them under his wing, and he's giving them advice. Like there's a line where he's like now I forgot the line, but he talks about these record companies and how they'll try to steal your money and stuff like that. It's very, very cool song, very cool album. I liked it a lot. And I'm gonna save my number one because I think we both have the same number one. So
you think we're the center one?
Yes, okay. You start with your list.
Okay, so my honorable mention, I'll give the edge to one, but it kind of came as a tie.
Okay.
Because I couldn't decide between the two of them. The first one is If You Feel Alone at Parties by Black Hippie. They're they're a black indie band that I think they're freshly new. Like this is their debut project, and the title track song If You Feel Alone at Parties is one of my favorite songs of the year. I will say, for anybody trying to get into this album and want to listen, you definitely have to be in the right frame of mind, because this album does talk about a lot of very serious stuff, a lot of triggering things like depression and suicide and other things like that. So if you're not in the right headspace to listen to it, I would definitely say, you know, make sure you're in a good frame of mind before you give it a spin. But as a whole collective project, I think it's good. It's raw, authentic, and real. So I think it's really a good one. And then my other one that tied, which I'm probably going to give the edge to, is Wherever You're Going, I Hope It's Great by 99 Neighbors. If you are a fan of Brockhampton,
great.
You are a fan of Brockhampton, I could definitely tell they don't have the same, I guess, formula or way of making music and same sound as Brockhampton, but it's the same premise. It's like a collective group of guys, rappers and producers that make music together, and they're very, very, very good. Their debut EP is very much like, it reminds me a lot of Saturation One, where it's just a lot of hard hitting shit. And then this one reminds me more of Roadrunner and Ginger, where it has those like big uppity kind of tracks, but it also has a lot of more introspective and like tracks that are very sentimental too in their approach. And you can definitely tell like they're very strong in their roots, especially with certain tracks that they have, like North Michigan Gospel, and then they have one called Table Freestyle, I think it's called, where like it's literally a recording of a dude making a beat on a table and it's just them rapping. And I think it's like really, really cool to see that how they're so down to earth and they're really grounded in their roots for how they want to make music and what they want to sound like. And I think that's perfect album. So I know I went too much of explaining in those, but I really wanted to kind of make sure you guys knew that.
You're good.
Number 9 is LP by JPEG Mafia. Absolutely solid album. Rebound is the best song on there. Debate Your Mama. That song is fucking fire.
So fire.
That song is crazy. Number 7 is an album that I literally started listening to, I think 2 weeks ago. It's called Look Closely by Hush Forte. It's like it's like more of the hip hoppy, the more rap centered R&B music, but he definitely has a lot of good R&B songs where he's just singing. But it's definitely good. It kind of gives me a lot of the Ty Dolla $ign type, but it's more like not really. It reminds me of the Ty Dolla $ign and Division track or the collab tape. That's what it kind of reminds me of a little bit. So I think that's what it kind of gave me, that kind of vibe. And it's really, really good. And it's definitely no skips on that album. Number 6 is Mother by Cleo Sol. Basically, a whole album with her chronicling her I guess tales of being a single mother, like freshly being a single mother. Definitely a lot of big bands and big background singers in there, and she has such a soothing voice. Definitely a good run through all the way through. It's only like 40 minutes. Really good album. Absolutely by Dijon. I think I said the title of the track of the album, I think wrong. I said it wrong in episode 1. It's not. It wasn't. Apparently, it's called Absolutely by Dijon.
Shit. I didn't even notice. That's also a good album.
Yeah. So that made top 5 for me. Absolute phenomenal album all the way through. No skips. He definitely has a way of mixing different sounds and being able to do different types of tracks. And then what I think I really liked about his album is the rawness of it, because it really sounds like he just stuck a mic in the middle of the floor with all of his producers, all of these the people that are playing instruments, and was just singing. So you can hear the stuff, people moving around the room. You can hear the background singers like through his mic. So it's not like it's in a studio. The only studio song like that you can tell is in a studio, I think, is The Dress. I think Many Times. Yeah. Those are the only 2 songs really that you can tell like, okay, he might be in a studio for that song. But every other song, like he's like in a room and the mic's just in the middle of the floor and he's just singing. And I think that's so cool to have that kind of raw feeling to it, that like that intimate feeling, like you're kind of in that. It's like, it feels like you're sitting in the room with him, listening to him record that song. And I think it's great. Number 4 is The House Is Burning by Isaiah Rashad. Are you surprised that it came that low? Or are you?
Yeah. I honestly, for you, I thought it'd be top 2, because again, I think I know what your top 1 is, but
yeah.
But I knew you would have it higher than me for sure.
Yeah, Isaiah Rashad is my favorite rapper other than Smino. And I think Isaiah Rashad has an album with the Sun's Triad, which is probably my favorite album of all time. Yeah, because of the significance of it and what it meant to me kind of going up through. Because that album dropped when we were freshmen in college. Yep. And it got me through a lot of shit. Like that album, I think Trapo's album, Shade Trees, those 2 albums are ones that really got me through college for real. So I have a special place in my heart for the Sun's Triad, and for as much as I like The House Is Burning, it's not the Sun's Triad. I think the Sun's Triad's a better album, but I think that The House Is Burning is definitely on that same introspective type level where he's just like, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I've been dealing with. And he even also he also has tracks where you're just like, I'm just in the car vibing, or I'm just turning the fuck up. Like Lay Witch is great, Rip Young is amazing. Hey Mista is my favorite song on there.
I was just about to say, this album has way more catchier tunes, and the first one that pops up in my head is "Hey Mister, can I get some pictures?" Yeah.
Bro, it's that song is so good. It's so good. And then even the deluxe is good. I think Rip Young with Project Pat and Juicy J is better than the original, because that's just me. But and then you have a song like Happy Birthday to You, which is probably Hey Mister and Happy Birthday to You are two of my favorites on there. Happy Birthday to You is a very introspective song, and then the switch up at the end is great. And then you have what other song? The Score with Black and SZA. And I think like that's one of my favorite. SZA's verse might be one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah,
it's it's short, sweet, to the point. And I think it's really good.
I also like the name of the deluxe. It's not called The House is Burning Deluxe. It's The House is Burning, Homies Begged.
Yeah, because
I like the name.
Yeah, because he's done that before on the Sun's Triad. He has the song Pick a Topic in parentheses Homies Begged. And like, so there's like an interlude on Sun's Triad where I think it's Top, and he's like, pick a topic that you want to rap about. Quit flipping through different ones. Like, find something you want to talk about and rap about it. And so, pick a topic is like comes after the ending track, and it's like it's a song how he's like how he talks about his favorite topics that he likes rapping about. I think it's really cool. So like that's a common thing for him is the parentheses Homies Begged. I thought it was a really cool like homage to the Sun's Triad. I thought it was cool. Number 3 is Deadpan Love by Cautious Clay. This album has absolutely zero skips.
Good album.
Cautious Clay is one of my favorite artists. He definitely has like a very good style to him. His lyrics and how he writes songs and the way he kind of uses metaphors and certain similes in his we do it in the message he's trying to tell is great. And I think that it's definitely an album that is hella slept on. The whole theme is about love and a very cynical outlook of love, from whether it's loving yourself, loving other people, loving your family and friends, other stuff, like all that kind of stuff. Like it's because it's like a deadpan type love. So it's a very cynical outlook at the topic of love. I think is really cool. So yeah, if you haven't listened to that, I definitely would recommend you kind of go back and look and listen through that, because absolutely no skips on it. Number 2 is Vince Staples by Vince Staples to me.
Okay.
So the reason why I have it so high, and it's one of my favorite Vince Staples projects out of all the ones he's dropped so far, because one, it's pretty short. You know, it's only like 8 tracks or whatever, and if you count the two, if you count the 2 interludes, but everything is so like he thrives on minimalistic production and just him rapping. I think having him and Kenny Beats together is a great duo together, because Kenny Beats knows like how, like what is going to work for Vince, and Vince knows how to use whatever Kenny gives him to his advantage. And I think Sean C talked about Vince Staples, that album, as like a ride along through Vince's hood, but nothing really happens. Y'all are just there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because usually, you know, so people have albums where it's like, oh, come with me and I'll show you what my life is like, and they're talking about, and it's like really bombastic and it's really like loud and in your face. But this one's just like you're in the car and you're just driving through and just seeing shit. Like nothing really like actually happens. He tells you all these like these stories and tells you like, hey, some wild shit be happening here. But like while you're in the car with him, you're just nothing's really happening. You're kind of just vibing, going through it, right? So I think that was like the cool vibe you get. I think Take Me Home with Fushi. She's such a good a singer. I definitely want to get more into her discography moving forward because she's a very good artist. What else? Law of Averages, the single that he dropped off of it is just super cool. The music, the visual for it was great. Yeah, it's just like, and I think Vince is very clever with his lyrics too. He just doesn't get enough credit for it. Like when he talks about we talk about law of averages and how female women be average, but he lists off the different avenues in his hood as he's going through the chorus. I think that was phenomenal. I think that he doesn't get enough credit for his lyrics sometimes. I think that's one of his biggest specialties. So that's number 2. So are we on the same page when it comes to number 1 album of the year?
100%, and everyone in the world should be.
Is it
100%?
Is it Call Me If You Get Lost?
Of course it is.
The Creator?
Of course it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, sir. That's the Nostalgia Plus Ultra. The album of the year from Nostalgia Plus Ultra as a collective is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator.
Dude, that is a near perfect album, just in general. It's one of my favorite albums ever.
He really has not missed with his albums.
No
way.
Especially
especially in the more recent times.
Dude, it's been Flower Boy, Igor, and now Call Me. All have been bangers albums, and this is him.
Oh yeah.
At his best, I think. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the fact that he's really producing on maybe 90% of his own shit. Because most of the time, you get really good albums, you get that 1 or 2 producers that just go crazy on the shit. Tyler is producing his own shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's writing on it. He has all these little things. I remember when Call Me If You Get Lost came out, and he was on Instagram Live remaking Massa. And he was talking about how he just layered all that shit in, all the different beat breaks, all the different patterns going into the build up of the actual beat, and he was just going crazy. His production has gotten so much better. And I think just the way in which he tells his stories and kind of constructs the songs together narratively, it just comes together amazing. I think it's really good.
And again, for rap fans, not just Tyler fans, rap fans, fucking DJ Drama just makes it that much better, I think.
Yeah, people hate that, but you got coming from someone that's from Georgia, listening to DJ Drama on a mixtape is great. People just don't understand.
Yeah,
they don't understand how great that is.
I got into rap around the DatPiff era. I was on DatPiff every week looking for new shit. And this album, even though it's new and it's Tyler moving forward, not really doing the stuff that he was known for back then. I think he's known for a certain aesthetic now than he was when he first started. It also took me back to just hear DJ Drama talk his shit, Right,
exactly. It's man, just going through the different tracks is great. Juggernaut is great. I think I've already said this. Hot Wind Blows sounds like a fucking car chase scene. I think Lil Wayne does a phenomenal job on it. Both Lil Wayne's verses on Tyler's albums, all of his verses on Tyler's albums have been phenomenal. Dude, the one on Cherry Bomb was disgusting.
Great.
The one on Flower Boy was great, and now this one. And I think out of the three, I think his one on Cherry Bomb might have the edge just because it was really good. But I do think his one on Hot Wind Blows is up there.
Oh my god,
it's really good.
Hot Wind Blows, like I said, I think I said this in the episode we talked about it. It's just the juxtaposition of Lil Wayne's verse and how hard it is to the subtlety of the beat that's almost not there. It fits so fucking well. It's so crazy, and I'm looking through the track list right now. I love Run It Up. I love
Run It Up with Tezo. Yeah,
really good. I Thought You Wanted to Dance. Adore that
Yep.
song. Adore that song. What's Your Name? Obviously, we talked about that.
Bro, NBA YoungBoy went crazy on that.
Crazy. Manifesto's great. Is Manifesto the one where he's like, you need to talk about that. You need to talk about
Yes.
Dude,
I
thought
actually
that was
really
so
like
funny.
that because that's a real thing. That's a real thing where people like you get a lot of white people that try to be offended for Hispanic people and black people, you know what I'm saying? They try to be offended for us or think that these celebrities are supposed to talk about it because they're just, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
If they're not educated on the subject or if they feel that they don't know how to approach it, I feel like you shouldn't look to those people to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? If talk about what you know you can talk about or what you're educated on, I feel like some of these celebrities, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't expect Tyler I will expect Tyler to stand up when black people are killed, obviously, but I won't expect Tyler to stand up for other random shit. You know what I'm saying? So, how he feels and wants to go about it, if he's educated on it, fine. And I think that's a great song to tell people, hey, like if you are not like in it and if you don't fully understand it, you can't get offended for us. Mm-hmm. Like you can stand up for something, you can take a stand, you can advocate for things, but trying to virtue signal to me. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make a virtue signal example out of me, it just doesn't make sense. So I think that's a phenomenal a track, a very underrated track in terms of the entirety of the project.
Yeah, and I also think Rise is very underrated. I love that song. That song gets me makes me feel good, gets me pumped up.
Exactly. Yep. I think it's great. I think I know like a lot of Tyler fans hated the DJ Drama thing, but that's just because most Tyler fans are in like what 9th and 10th grade.
Exactly, dude. He even tweeted. I think someone tweeted like, "Why is DJ Drama just yelling? It takes me out." And then he quote tweeted it saying, "Stop bullying this kid. He's new here."
Exactly, because they just there's not because like you think back to stuff like what album was it? Stone Mountain.
That's the first one
from Donald Glover. Stone Mountain. I know there's like way more before then with Gangsta Grillz mixtapes. I get it, but for me, for somebody that's like more that wasn't really into like the real hard gangster rap type stuff.
Yeah.
I adored Childish Gambino. I loved all his music. So when Gangsta Grillz showed up on that mixtape, I was like, oh, it's fire. You know what I'm saying? It was so good.
It's almost the same thing because you wouldn't from before Stone Mountain, Childish Gambino's like discography, you wouldn't expect DJ Drama to host his mixtape. And then the first fucking song, he's yelling, "Roscoe's wetsuit in 1 week," and you're like, "This is sick."
Yeah, it's fire, right? It's amazing. So yeah, I do think the Call Me If You Get Lost was definitely gonna be up there for both of us. I didn't think you would have it as number one, but it's definitely refreshing to see. So I guess we can say this the NPU stamp of approval is Call Me If You Get Lost, and NPU certified. So yeah, those are our list. You know, if you want, I'll probably post a picture with all of our recommendations, all of our picks for the year's best. I'll do it in like a 3x3 format, and then the next picture will be our honorable mention. So I think that if you heard anything that you hadn't seen before or haven't listened to before, and you want to go back, there's no shame in doing that. You just might miss it the first time. I think that it's really cool that we got so much good shit, and I'm really excited for whatever we have going on in the new year. I know our next episode will probably be a little more geared to the new shit that's coming out and the new things we're kind of excited for, music wise, video game wise, and anime wise. So I think that be on the lookout for that. So
before we end, I was looking for if anyone has done best anime of this year yet. To see what we got, and the only article I found was Polygon. So take this as you will, whoever's listening. But we got a few on both. There's this is in no particular order, but They recommend Star Wars Visions, Dynazenon, like I said, Sonny Boy, Skate the Infinity, Ranking of Kings, Odd Taxi, the last season of My Hero, Megalobox Nomad, like you said.
It's good, man.
Jujutsu Kaisen, Stone Ocean, which I haven't seen yet, but I do plan on it. Fruits Basket, that's another one I want to watch.
That's not bad. I really couldn't get into it, but it's not a bad anime, but I just couldn't get into it.
Demon Slayer, like we said, Mugen Train, Blue Period, and yeah, I think we kind of hit. I think this kind of shows we have a little bit of taste, you know.
Yeah, we're not pulling like random. Yeah, I think that there are obviously other anime that I probably missed that were people were
Sure
talking about, like Mushoku Tensei. For those that are listening, I will go watch Mushoku Tensei. If it turns out that I missed it it's not on my list, I'll just go ahead and take the L on that one. But I have heard really good reviews about it. I did hear the first core has some stuff in it. It's a little bit risky, a little bit I'm not sure about that one, but as a whole though, as a show, I think apparently it's like top notch. So I'll definitely have to go back and watch Mushoku Tensei. So that's it. And you got anything else?
Are we gonna do Music Rex again, or did we just do a whole episode of Music Rex?
We did a whole episode of Music Rex. We don't need to do that. I think
Okay.
the next we can go back to our Music Rex for the next episode.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that did I skip one on accident?
Skip.
I think I might have skipped one.
An album?
I think I skipped an album.
Which
I
one?
don't know, but okay. I think my number 8 was Yakuza by Swum. I don't think I mentioned it at all.
Oh,
But,
wait,
okay.
no, you didn't.
Yeah, it's a lo-fi album by Swum.
It's a
He's
beat
a producer.
tape.
And
Swum is great. Swum is
It's a
great.
beat tape, and he has a lot of song flips on there, which are really good. But it's a number 8. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think I definitely skipped over that one on accident. But number 8 is definitely Yakuza by Swum. So that is pretty much it. I knew it was gonna be a long album, but long album. I knew it was gonna be a long episode, but I appreciate you guys for listening in. I could not have asked for a better start, or I guess better end to the year with this podcast going up. For those that are listening, I really appreciate you. From the both of us. We're starting out kind of small. I know a lot of people, as far as content creators, really want to blow up really bad. But to be honest, I really think this is something that I don't know if I'm speaking for on behalf of Zoe, but it's just something we want to do for fun. And I definitely think if we end up blowing up because of something we're having fun with, then that's all gravy. But for the most part, if you're listening to us, it's just me and it's just two friends having a good time talking about things we like. So
Gives us an excuse to talk more.
Exactly. I really appreciate all everything you guys are doing, from the feedback, from text messages I get from people that say that they like the episodes, from people from even people that may not reach out and they're just listening. I really nothing goes unnoticed. I really appreciate you guys. So this is a long-winded way of saying thank you. More stuff coming in the next year. I know as far as work goes, it's definitely going to be really hectic. So we might end up moving to bi-weekly. Not 100% sure yet, but if we can make it work for weekly, we'll go make it work. But if we can't, bi-weekly is going to be the thing. I still definitely want to get content out. YouTube videos are going to come. I don't know. I want to try to hit my goal of getting to an episode out, or a YouTube video out before the end of the year. But if it doesn't happen, it definitely will come out in 2022. So again, really appreciate you guys. Anything else you guys know?
Okay, I'm subscribing.
Bro, please do that again, bro. Please.
They worked hard to figure it out, and it wasn't gender specific. It wasn't a boys cartoon or a girls cartoon or any of those things.
It was a talking dog, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he got in there and I liked it. Whoa! Pause.
Definitely gonna do that. So that being said, thank you for listening in. I know it's a really long episode, but again, thanks. This has been Nostalgia Plus Ultra. I've been Nostalgia, as told by Zoe. See you guys next time. Peace.